like I said, thank you for jumping on the call today. Really eager to go through the platform with you in a bit more detail. We'll have some time at the end for a bit of Q&A. I've also got a couple of colleagues that are in the chat as well, so feel free to drop your questions into the Q&A bar or the chat bar, and we can either answer them for you as and when we're going through the webinar. Or like I said, we can do that at the end of the call as well. But for those of you that haven't actually seen OpenSpace in practice, my main aim today is to obviously go through the platform in a bit of detail, and just give you a bit of idea where OpenSpace is, I guess, globally with some of the users that we have, but also within the UK as well. So what we've basically created is a platform that enables contractors, building owners, basically anybody with a project or an asset, the ability to go out there and capture a 360 image. And the whole ethos of what we've created is for you to do that in a simple and speedy way. So everything that you see in terms of functionality is basically built out with the thoughts of it being simple to use. And it's actually been built out from, I guess, a request from some of our current customer base as well. And the whole idea is it's increasing visibility. So OpenSpace has multiple use cases from all the way from pre-construction through to handover of some of these jobs, but also addressing QA, QC issues as you're going through that as well. And I'll sort of touch on how it can avoid rework and sort of spot discrepancies sort of earlier on as well. Now, in terms of where OpenSpace is at, in terms of numbers, we're operating now in over 93 different countries. We've got close to 200,000 users that are using the platform, and we've captured over 25 billion square foot in the platform as well. So a huge amount of data that we're sitting on, and how that translates to the UK for some of the UK customers that we've got on the call now. We're close to 3,000 sites that have actually been captured within the platform, and over 250 users, construction companies that are using it. So a pretty good usage that we have both globally, but also within the UK, considering we've only been active here for about 4-5 years now. To give you an idea around how it works in practice, let me open this out for you. And like I said, to go back off the simplicity side of things, what we do is we basically utilize off-the-shelf 360 cameras. So these cameras essentially have built-in Wi-Fi. So you'll pair that up. It's almost like a local connection between your iPhone or iPad. It's also compatible with Android devices. And you basically pair that up with your tablet or your phone and download the OpenSpace app, and you upload your GA plans into the platform, and they then sit within the application itself. So you can go out and capture in offline mode if you wish. And when you hit new capture, you'd basically select the floor plate that you're standing on. So let's say I'm on a 3 or 4 story building. I'd drop a pin with my general location, and that's the only reference point that OpenSpace needs to begin your capture. So you zoom in, drop a pin. Let's say I'm next to room 102 or the stairwell of level 3. I drop my pin there, and that's all you need to do to begin a capture. So again, very simple to go out and go out and use a capture or do a capture. And this is the sort of platform. So this is what you'd see when you go in and log in OpenSpace. If you've got multiple projects, they'd be showing here. And as you click into them, you basically have a view with all of the latest captures that have been taken, and then some of the field notes, which I'll show you how you can take those in a second. If I jump into this here, this is basically the end output that you get with OpenSpace. So you can see here the hard hat that it's mounted to, and you get this full 360 view of everything that's happened when you've captured on that date. And this sheet, as we call it within OpenSpace, basically your GA plan, then acts as almost like a mini map. So the green squiggle that you see, if I enlarge this a bit more, is basically the path that the individual has walked through. So if I wanted to verify works that's happened in a particular area, I'm able to sort of jump around and basically see what's happened from this week. So if you're trying to get payment applications through or verify works that has happened. Again, double check fire stoppings installed in a particular area. You can do that in a completely simple and easy way. So what you're essentially doing with OpenSpace is almost using it, and this is the sort of use case across the board, as almost like an insurance policy for everything that's happening on site, because you can go back and basically select the different dates of interest. So if I wanted to find out where my project is a month before now, as long as you've walked in that particular area, you'll have a capture of that date. So OpenSpace basically taking a picture every half second. So the amount of data that it's collecting is pretty large as well. And everything that you see in a darker shade blue is basically a capture in that data point. So I'm able to sort of jump back and basically see what's happened from 1 week to the next, or I can just use my date selector to jump around to those as well. And the arrows basically take me to the nearest capture in that point as well. And again, as you're starting to build out ceiling and walls, but you want to verify quality of install from maybe piping or ducting, what you're also able to do is pull up a split screen view of that particular area. And again, as long as you've captured in that space, I can select my dates, lock the screen here, and basically get a side-by-side view of that particular spot. And then the next functionality, which is a good segue here, is as you're spotting issues on site, you can either do this within the tablet or the phone that you're using to create a field note, or you can do it after the fact. So if I spot maybe some of the rebar or some of the framing here has got a crack in it, what I can do is hover over this area and basically create these sort of snapshots of an issue, where I can write in my description of it. If I want, I can have multiple tags within this. You can mark it up to make it blatantly obvious what you're referring to. And then these can also be assigned out to other individuals. And you can see here that it's all geolocated on the floor plate. So if you're sharing this out with other subbies or other team members, they know exactly where that's been raised or where in the job it is. So you're not wasting time. So they're looking around different images there. And then all these tags, so these are like the most commonly used tags within OpenSpace at the moment, but these tags can all be customizable to sort of suit the way that you currently work. And obviously you can put due dates against this as well. And then off the back of this, all of these field notes basically sit within almost like the library. So if I wanted to filter out maybe all of my safety issues that I've seen, or some of the mechanical issues that I've spotted from week 2, for example, I can filter these out. Fire protection, whatever it could be. You can build up a list of all the tags that you want to create a report on, and then these can be exportable as a PDF, and it looks a little like this to give you an idea there, where it'd have the name of the project. We can customize this so it's got your logo. So with OpenSpace, it'll give you a summary with what's being pulled through, with how many notes are there. And as I scroll down, it'll give you some thumbnails off this, and then a bit more granular detail of what these actual issues are. So if I've written a description, it'll pull through here as well. So the tag, the due date, if I've assigned one to it. And again, you can assign it to other team members within the same project as well. At the moment, it's not assigned to anybody. Perfect. And very similar to the split screen view that I showed you earlier, you also have the capability to upload your BIM models into OpenSpace. So if I throw up my BIM model here, what we basically do is align the model against your 360 capture. So as long as you've got a capture on that particular floor, OpenSpace will then align it to your BIM model. Again, really simple to maneuver around. You can have it just so it's showing your BIM model. But this is basically a federated model that's been uploaded. And then with our sort of new release with BIM Plus, what you're able to do now is upload different models within the platform. So rather than just being a federated model, if I wanted to see just my superstructure or my M&E package, I can hide the different elements here, which obviously helps with loading speeds. And then the next stage off this is the ability to have save views. So we sort of understand that not everyone is so au fait with navigating these models. So what we wanted to do is increase visibility of this. So what we started to do is have a save view, similar to what you'd see within Navisworks, where your design team or people that know how to navigate these models can basically hide the different elements and make these visible for both the people in the team and in the office, sorry, but also on site to sort of easily jump to different areas of interest. Like in this case, we've got a relatively congested area. And what we were able to do now is highlight the different elements and then throw these onto your model. So if you're trying to ensure or avoid deviations, this would be a very easy way to basically, rather than going out to site, get a quick snapshot that you're sort of ensuring stuff within the correct spot there as well. Now, in terms of sharing the data, pretty simple to do that as well. Down in the bottom left, where you've got your sort of members section, you simply click this and you can add as many users as you wish within the platform, and you can give them different access rights. So you can make someone a viewer where they can only see the content in the platform. They'd still be able to see their own field notes, but not edit them. Obviously, an editor can create their own field notes and switch them out and assign the field notes to other individuals. Site admins can pretty much do all of the above as well. But let's say you wanted to share this information or the data out with other clients. What you can basically do is have these shared folders pre-set up. So if I wanted to have maybe weekly coordination calls, or again, you're using OpenSpace to verify payments, what I could do is create these subfolders and only give people access into this subfolder. So if I open this out, what I'm able to do is add maybe 3 or 4 captures into this folder, and only people within this folder would then get access to these captures. And again, similar workflow with how you'd invite people in. Just put their email address in here, invite them in, and they would only be able to see what's within this folder as well. And you can also make these a public link, which you can then share out via email or just a standard URL as well. But yeah, I know that I've gone through that relatively quickly, and I guess that just shows how easy it is to navigate through and use. We'll pause there for some Q&A if there's any questions that we've got. So see here, there's a question around how many users can I invite into OpenSpace and how does the licensing work? I guess the licensing depends on we essentially annualize the construction value of your particular jobs. The way that it works with users is you get an unlimited amount of people that can access the project, and then there's no limit on the amount of captures that you do as well. So we get that, there's site teams that could be in the middle of the UK, but then your job is down in London. So we want people to get as much visibility of things that are happening on site as possible. So there's no real limit there. And then there's a question around cost. Again, that depends on the construction values and the length. So I'd need to know a bit more around, see the projects that you've got in mind, but we can take that offline if you wish, and we can get some exact figures over to you. And another question in the chat around how OpenSpace has been used with fire safety in line with the golden thread. Again, great question. It's quite a hot topic, especially within the UK at the moment. But there's a handful of use cases. We've actually done quite a few case studies around this, which I can share out with you. Even to the point now where we have a lot of fire remediation companies that are using the platform essentially to verify that they've gone through the correct processes. Another handful of customers, even some modular companies that are using OpenSpace to basically get remote sign-off. So rather than going out and doing intrusive works where they'd have to rip out 2-3 meters of plasterboard, they can use OpenSpace essentially to peel back the layers of an area and prove that they've got the correct fire stopping, or it's been done in a correct manner in terms of the quality's been there. Another question there, what kind of cameras can we use for this? And do we buy them from OpenSpace? Yeah, so these are off-the-shelf cameras. You can buy them from local suppliers if you want, but also OpenSpace we're essentially resellers of the Insta360 cameras and the Theta cameras, so we can provide those as well. But it's essentially just I can share out a link of all the supported cameras. There's about 7 or 8 now that are compatible, but it's the majority of the Insta360 cameras and then the Theta Z1. Any other questions? What cameras do I recommend? Again, another great question there. So Insta360 have just released the X4. We've just got that in general access now, and the output is pretty good, even comparing it to the last edition, which is the RS1. So I'd definitely recommend the X4. It's proven quite good in low light areas as well, and it's a little cheaper. I think it retails now at $499. Are the statuses changeable? Yes, they are, and so are the tags as mentioned as well. So Ian's got a question around the Theta Z1. Can I use OpenSpace on a trial basis? Yeah, so we can do sort of limited trial periods where you get access to the platform for 14 or 13 or 30 days, depending on how many projects you want to use OpenSpace on. But again, Ian, we can do that. We can have that conversation in more detail with the project that you've got in mind, and we can get you guys set up on a trial there. Another thing to add on that is we also have a sort of e-learning page. We can do this over a call in terms of getting your team and yourself trained up, but the e-learning platform is pretty straightforward, and it's also almost like an academy where you can log in, and if there's sort of new people that join the team, they can basically get access to how you'd go about doing a capture, go through some of the end output like I've gone through today with how you'd go about navigating and doing the split screen view. So yeah, it's quite easy to get up and running. It's very much plug and play. Who do we connect with after the webinar? So some communication will be sent out to everyone that's joined, but also people that haven't attended. But that can either be myself or Eva, who's in the chat as well. Yeah, she just put something in the webinar chat. In fact, if I share my screen again. So if you scan the QR code here, when it wants to load for me, that'll also send you straight to the web page that Eva has just put into the chat. But I realize now I've lost the ability to see the chat. So I'll leave that up for a couple of more minutes and then go back to the chat box. So again, another question here. Do you guys come out to the field and teach us how to use it? Like I said, it is very much plug and play. Sometimes you do site visits depending on obviously where you're based. But a lot of the times it's via Teams, and yeah, as you've seen from some of the numbers that I've showed you, especially with the amount of users that we have, it's quite easy to get up and running in a timely manner. But we can do sort of in-person sessions or via Teams. You mentioned Navis. Are you in a way of linked? Are you in a way linked with them? So the BIM model that I showed you is basically just a Forge integration. So anything that you're able to see within Autodesk Forge, or upload, should I say, you can basically upload into OpenSpace. So there's about 72 different file formats that we have. With the BIM Plus functionality, people that host their models within ACC can essentially link them directly through the projects there. So as and when they're changing out, there's a way to sync them directly into OpenSpace. So we do have direct integrations from a field note perspective with Procore, obviously ACC, PlanGrid, and Beta. At the moment, we have an integration with Vivisto as well. So there's multiple models that you can upload into the platform. Is there any other questions coming through? No, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, thank you for joining, everyone. Again, we'll send out a recording of this to everyone that's joined, but feel free to connect with either myself. So my email is lewis@openspace.ai, and through the QR code, we'll also reach out to you guys that want to test out OpenSpace as well. But yeah, thank you for joining in.